And on the other hand, they are a way of reducing the deficit. And I think we just went through a really great overview about how none of those things are true.
I
And
agree. I think he's fooled a lot of people into believing both of those. Yes, that
and
both of those can happen simultaneously.
well, not just that both of those can happen simultaneously. I think we all know that's not true, even if it's possible to get a quick populist bump out of it. I'm more frustrated by the fact that when he says the tariffs are working, we say, well, they're not reducing the deficit that much. And he says, yeah, but we're getting great trade deals. And then when we say, oh, well, the trade deals aren't that good, and he's saying, well, we reduce the deficit, and you just end up in this circle. And I think we need to go back to Taco.
Yeah, I suppose it's a good example of, everyone assuming it was going to be all-time bad, and it turned out to just be not good. I'm shocked to hear you say Trump chickening out as an 11% national sales tax on imported goods. That's
Well,
chickening out. I guess it is for him versus Liberation Day tariffs, yes. But then
well,
people, I think the positive spin for him would be he'd tell you, he was never going to go with those numbers.
right, which is even more so why like why is the economist saying do tariffs work? We made it this far without mentioning unemployment. Amazon had a big layoff that a lot of folks were freaking out about. Is the AI crash coming? Is the big unemployment crash coming, or is this just a one-off?
I would not take these headliney numbers of job reports from S&P 500's firms necessarily as the benchmark for the labor market. Why? Because S&P 500 companies employ around 20 million people in the United States. Sure, it's a lot of people, but the labor force is 170 million people. A much bigger driver of the underlying impacts of the economy are what smaller employers are doing. Forget companies with 1 million employees. I'm talking about companies with fewer than 30 employees, much more emblematic of what's going on in the economy. We also in 2022 had these same headlines with tech layoffs.